Everyone thought the Hummer H1 was just an oversized truck. They had no idea. Military-grade everything. Doors weigh 200 pounds each. Drinks gas like water. These are 12 weird facts about the Hummer H1. And the bonus, let's just say celebrities turned warfare into fashion. Mount up. This tactical giant is about to get extreme. Fact 1. Born for battle, not boulevards. What you see cruising down Rodeo Drive was never meant to be there at all. The Hummer H1 began life as the HMMW-V. That's High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, built exclusively for the United States military in 1985. This wasn't some civilian truck with a few upgrades. This was a purpose-built war machine designed to replace the aging Jeep fleet that had served American forces since World War II. AM General, the manufacturer, had zero intentions of civilians ever driving these behemoths. Every inch of the vehicle had to meet over 1,200 military specifications before a single unit rolled off the production line. These weren't arbitrary guidelines either. They were requirements for a vehicle expected to survive active combat zones, carry wounded soldiers, and traverse terrain that would break a normal truck in half. What changed everything was Operation Desert Storm. When Americans watched the Gulf War unfold on CNN, they saw these massive, unstoppable machines plowing through desert terrain. And suddenly, everyone wanted one in their driveway, a military vehicle they couldn't actually buy. Fact 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger started the civilian invasion Enter the Terminator. While filming a movie in Oregon, Arnold Schwarzenegger spotted a military convoy of Humvees rolling past the set. The action star became instantly obsessed. If anyone could understand the appeal of something massively oversized and unstoppable, it was Arnold. He didn't just admire from afar, though. Schwarzenegger personally called and visited AM General executives, using his celebrity status to convince them that a civilian version would sell like crazy. The executives were skeptical. Who would want to drive a military truck to the grocery store? Arnold, apparently. In 1992, Schwarzenegger purchased the very first civilian Hummer H1 for $50,000. About $105,000 in today's money. His star power created an instant wait list of wealthy buyers. The truth is brutally simple. Without Arnold's persistence, the civilian Hummer might never have existed at all. He single-handedly created one of the most controversial vehicle trends in automotive history. Fact 3. Each door weighs more than a motorcycle. Ever wondered why Hummer owners always seem to be in good shape? Try opening the door a few times daily. Each H1 door weighs exactly 200 pounds, more than many street motorcycles. This isn't car door weight, this is gym equipment. The ridiculous weight comes from the military-grade construction. These doors aren't designed to keep out the rain, they're built to stop bullets and shrapnel. The hinges aren't just hinges, they're engineered to function even after taking direct fire in combat. Many civilian owners eventually installed power door assists because opening and closing them manually was literally exhausting. Plus, imagine trying to hold a 200-pound door open against the wind while attempting to climb inside. It's not a car, it's a workout regimen with wheels. Fact 4. Fuel economy that defies physics. The H1 doesn't just use fuel, it devours it with an insatiable hunger that would make oil sheiks smile. In city driving conditions, expect a jaw-dropping 8 to 10 miles per gallon. The 25-gallon tank empties in under 200 miles of normal driving. When gas prices peaked above $4 per gallon, filling an H1 cost over $100. And that's if you could find a station that wouldn't cut you off thinking their pump was malfunctioning. The 6.5-litre turbo diesel engine makes no apologies for its consumption. It was designed for battlefields, not budgets. Owners joke that you can literally watch the fuel gauge drop in real time while driving. One famous H1 owner quipped, "It gets 8 miles per gallon whether you're driving it or not." In the war between physics and fuel economy, the H1 waves a white flag. Fact 5. Too wide for normal life. The H1 measures 86.5 inches wide. That's over 7 feet of American excess. Standard parking spaces? Forget it. Normal garages? Not a chance. The vehicle was designed to have a stable platform for mounting weapons, not for fitting into Walmart parking spots. This extreme width created genuine problems for civilian owners. Some states required special permits because the H1 exceeded standard vehicle width regulations. drive-through restaurants became impossible obstacles. Car washes were out of the question, and parking garages might as well have had no Hummers allowed signs. The width wasn't arbitrary. Military engineers needed a vehicle with exceptional stability during high-speed desert maneuvers and when traversing steep side slopes. But on Main Street, USA, it just meant taking up 2 parking spaces and getting nasty notes left on your windshield. Fact 6. Climbs mountains like a goat. While most off-road vehicles stop at dirt roads and gentle hills, the H1 was just getting warmed up. This beast can ascend 60-degree slopes, angles so steep they would flip normal trucks backward. With 16 inches of ground clearance and approach angles of 72 degrees, it essentially climbs like a mechanical mountain goat. During military testing, engineers drove these vehicles up concrete stairs and over Jersey barriers. The independent suspension keeps all 4 wheels planted on terrain that looks impassable. It can ford water 30 inches deep without modification. In fact, the H1's capabilities were so far beyond what civilian drivers would ever use that most owners never discovered what their vehicles could actually do. Most H1s led pampered lives driving to shopping malls when they were literally engineered to drive through buildings if necessary. Fact 7. Bulletproof options were actually available. Unlike today's luxury SUVs that merely look intimidating, the H1 offered genuine protection packages. For civilian buyers with proper permits and deep pockets, AM General would happily install bulletproof glass, reinforced doors, and run-flat tires straight from the factory. Some models included blast-resistant floors, specifically designed for VIP protection services. These weren't cosmetic upgrades, they were legitimate security features deployed in actual conflict zones. The armoured civilian versions often weighed over 10,000 pounds and required commercial driver's licenses to operate legally. Celebrities and foreign dignitaries regularly ordered these protection packages, creating the bizarre reality of bulletproof vehicles showing up at movie premieres and award shows. Only with the H1 could bulletproof be listed alongside heated seats on the options list. Fact 8. The steering wheel fights back. Early H1 models came without power steering, a shocking omission for a vehicle this size. The steering was deliberately heavy to provide maximum feedback during off-road military operations. For civilian drivers, it meant wrestling a stubborn wheel that refused to turn without significant physical effort. Shower parking lot maneuvers left drivers sweating and exhausted. 3-point turns became 5-point struggles. Women and elderly drivers often found the vehicle physically impossible to steer at low speeds. Later civilian models mercifully added power steering, but even then, it remained heavier than most commercial trucks. The manual steering was intentional, designed for soldiers who needed precise control feedback when navigating through dangerous environments. But for soccer mums trying to navigate Costco parking lots, it was just another reminder that they were driving a vehicle never meant for civilian hands. Fact 9. Maintenance costs more than most car payments. Owning an H1 means paying military-industrial complex prices for basic maintenance. Thus, annual service costs average between $5,000 to $8,000 for normal driving, roughly the same as a lease payment on a new luxury sedan. Oil changes require 10 quarts and cost upwards of $200 at authorized service centers. Need new tires? That'll be $2,000 plus for a complete set of military-spec rubber. And when something breaks, which it inevitably does, parts must often be sourced from military suppliers at premium prices. Most civilian mechanics refuse to work on them entirely due to their complexity and specialized requirements. H1 owners often joke that the purchase price was just the down payment on a lifetime of maintenance costs. Fact 10. Hollywood's favorite apocalypse vehicle. The H1 has starred in over 50 movies and TV shows, becoming Hollywood's go-to vehicle whenever directors need to show indestructibility or impending doom. Also, from Terminator 2 to Armageddon, the Hummer became visual shorthand for things are about to get serious. Directors love them because they look inherently militaristic and imposing on camera. The vehicle became such a powerful symbol of American military might that its appearances in films did more for civilian sales than any advertising campaign could have achieved. The irony is perfect. A vehicle designed for actual combat scenarios became famous through fictional portrayals of combat, which then convinced civilians they needed it for trips to Starbucks. Fact 11. Production ended because of emissions. The vehicle that could survive IED blasts and desert warfare ultimately couldn't survive the EPA. In 2006, new emission standards made the H1's diesel engine illegal for civilian sale, an AM. General determined it wasn't economically feasible to redesign the power plant to meet the stricter regulations. After just 14 years of civilian production, the original Hummer H1 was discontinued after only 11,818 units were built. The military versions continued production, but civilian models instantly became collector items worth more than their original purchase price. It's strangely poetic that a vehicle designed to conquer any physical obstacle was ultimately defeated by air quality regulations. Fact 12. Still serving in war zones, while civilian H1s have become garage queens and collector pieces, their military counterparts continue active duty worldwide. Over 280,000 military HMMWVs have been built since 1985, serving in armed forces globally. Today's military versions include upgraded armor packages, and advanced communication systems and modern weaponry. Despite newer military vehicles being introduced, the basic HMMWV design remains largely unchanged because it simply works perfectly for its intended purpose. While civilians moved on to H2S, H3S, and eventually electric vehicles, soldiers around the world still depend on this proven platform in actual combat situations every day. Perhaps the strangest legacy of the Hummer H1 is how it transformed military hardware into status symbols. Hollywood elites like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Mike Tyson made these war machines fashionable, paying $100,000 plus for custom luxury interiors in vehicles designed for battlefields. The contradiction was stark. Military vehicles engineered for maximum utility and survival being repurposed as the ultimate civilian excess. And the celebrities drove them to red carpet events where they'd step out in designer clothes from vehicles designed to withstand mortar fire. What started as pure military function became the ultimate statement of conspicuous consumption, the perfect symbol of late 90s excess and pre-9/11 American attitudes toward military aesthetics. From bulletproof doors to Hollywood red carpets, the Hummer H1 proved that sometimes the most impractical vehicle becomes the most desirable. This military monster conquered civilian hearts by being completely unsuited for civilian life.